Coming up tonight on YCN News, no bidders came today on 2 properties in a case that brought global attention to the small town of Plainfield, New Hampshire 7 years ago. A traffic accident this morning on I-91 north in Vernon, Vermont, injured its driver, totaled her car, and closed traffic for several hours. And YCN takes an exclusive trip to tell you more about the Cornish Fair this weekend. For more news, weather, and sports, it's time for YCN, your local view.
Now, your daily digest of the Dartmouth Lake Sunapee region, southern Vermont, and Windsor County. News, sports, weather, and all that is happening in our area. The news on YCN, your local view.
Good evening and welcome to this Friday edition of YCN News. I'm Rose Spillman. There were no bidders today on 2 properties in a case that brought global attention to the small town of Plainfield, New Hampshire 7 years ago. 2 properties owned by convicted federal tax evaders Elaine and Ed Brown were scheduled to be auctioned off today in U.S. District Court in Concord, New Hampshire. Bidding opened as scheduled this afternoon, our YCN News team reports. About 20 people were in a room in the downtown federal courthouse. Security at the courthouse was heavy. About a minute and 48 seconds later, both auctions were over, with the matter no further than when the auction began. Bidding opened, seconds passed, and the bidding was closed. Proceeds from the sale would go toward money the Browns owed in federal taxes. Known as Property A, or 401 Center of Town Road, lies in Plainfield, New Hampshire. The minimum bid on this property is $250,000 and is to be sold as is, court records note. A minimum deposit to hold the Plainfield property is $50,000. The Browns were convicted in 2009 on additional charges of trying to blow up and kill federal law enforcement agents who went to their Plainfield home, an earlier Associated Press reports explains. Federal security officers believe there are no explosive devices at this location anymore. Today's second auction focuses on Brown's Property B at 27 Glen Road in West Lebanon. The minimum bid sought on this site is $507,500. As with Property A, it too is being sold in an as-is condition. A $50,000 deposit also is required. Meanwhile, the Browns continue to serve out their individual 30-year-plus sentences in 2 different federal prisons. They are each in their early 70s. We have an update to a story we reported yesterday about an armed robbery in Lebanon. A suspect has been arrested, charged with holding up the Maplefield convenience store on Mechanic Street. 22-year-old Skylar Smith of White River Junction, Vermont, is in police custody. He was picked up yesterday on Plainfield Road in West Lebanon. Officers of the Lebanon, New Hampshire Police worked with Hartford, Vermont Police to locate Smith. Lebanon Police found Smith around 3:30 p.m. yesterday. Smith is charged with 2 crimes. First, he was arrested for an outstanding parole violation, and second, on suspicion of yesterday's armed robbery. He is being held on $50,000 cash bail at the Grafton County House of Corrections in North Haverhill. Smith was scheduled to be arraigned today in Lebanon District Court. Lebanon police continue to seek information regarding the robbery. They can be reached at 603-448-1212. A traffic accident this morning on I-91 north in Vernon, Vermont injured its driver, totaled her car, and closed traffic for several hours. Vermont State Police report 55-year-old Kimberly Hoisington was not wearing a seatbelt at the time of the 2:21 a.m. crash. Hoisington of Berlin, Vermont, was driving a 2010 blue Kia sedan north on pavement that was wet from light rain. A call came in of a reported single vehicle rollover with entrapment. First responders, including Brattleboro and Guilford Volunteer Fire Department and Rescue, found Hoisington lying on the side of the roadway. Hoisington complained of back, hand, chest, and leg injuries. She was med-flighted to Bay State Medical Center in Massachusetts. Police say Hoisington's car left the roadway, entered the median, crossed a paved U-turn, and rolled over until it stopped in the left side high-speed travel lane. The crash remains under investigation. Anyone with information about this crash is encouraged to contact Trooper Val Kaur of the Vermont State Police's Brattleboro Barracks. The number is 802-254-2382 or call the State Police Crime Information Tip Line at 802-241-5355. When YCN News returns, we'll continue with more news.
The YCN News continues in a moment.
Welcome back to YCN News. I'm Rose Spillman. Yesterday, our YCN crew covered the New Hampshire Bar Association's Quid Pro Bono golf tournament at Lake Sunapee Country Club. We got to learn more about this benefit event from the event's organizer, Virginia Martin.
This is our 21st annual Quid Pro Bono golf tournament. This is the only fundraiser of the Pro Bono program, which coordinates volunteer attorneys in providing free legal services to low-income people throughout the Granite State. We are absolutely, completely delighted with the weather today. We have been fortunate over the years that we've been blessed with a beautiful course. Usually sunny skies, never can predict the weather. At the same time, we are fortunate to have supporters who come out no matter what the weather is to support our cause. This year we have 21 foursomes playing in the tournament. We hope to net probably about $16,000 to $18,000. We are really fortunate in that the proceeds from the Pro Bono Golf Tournament help support the activities of our program. We recruit, train, and support private attorneys in their volunteer services to low-income people. They provide free representation in cases such as domestic violence situations, foreclosures, those kinds of matters that where intervention by an attorney can make all the difference and where the people otherwise would have no way to afford representation or counsel to help them with their problems. This program screens many of the people seeking legal services. They will ask the questions and help determine eligibility to send on to our program, where we then look to match people with attorneys in their own areas. We only are able to handle non-criminal cases for low-income people throughout the community. There are a number of ways in which people can access the Pro Bono program, including calling an 800 number, 1-800-639-5290 for the Legal Advice and Referral Center.
What a great day and a great cause. I know it's tough to convince lawyers to spend time on a golf course, but somebody has to do it. If you know anyone that might have need of their free services, please give them a call. Today, I took a special trip to the Cornish Fair in New Hampshire to see and experience all the fun that is in store this weekend. From shows to rides and, of course, delicious foods, the fair has a lot for all to enjoy. My favorite was the helicopter rides offered, where visitors can take a trip to see New Hampshire from the sky in a Vietnam-era helicopter. The Cornish Fair is also famous for its dairy shows, so I stopped by and met a few of the people involved. Let's take a look. I'm here with Marsha Clark, where the 4-H judging is going on behind us, and that is one of the highlights at the Cornish Fair. So can you tell me a little bit about the judging?
The Cornish Fair actually hosts part of the judging competition that goes on to state, and they go into eastern states. So these 4-Hers are learning more about judging cattle to compete New Englandly or to nationally.
What does it take to be a judge here?
They really are looking at the type of the animal. They're looking at their, the dairy character. They're looking at mammary systems. They're looking at the overall condition of the animal for type. So what they're doing is they're judging which animal is the best animal out of the 4 that they're working on behind us right now. These kids have prepared these animals, and then they get judged when they come to the fair.
Great. And I hear that this is one of the largest dairy shows, or the largest dairy show in New Hampshire.
Before the fair animals came, we had 250 head of cattle here, and we probably have 210 that actually arrived. We host the state Ayrshire, Guernsey, and Jersey show, which will take place tomorrow.
I'm here with Maddie Bogie, who is one of the exhibitors for the 4-H dairy show. So, why do you like to show the dairy cows here?
Well, I like to show dairy cows because I grew up on a dairy farm, and I really love dairy cows, and I think that they're very special in their own way and very different from beef cows. It's one of my favorite things ever because when I go to milk our cows, I have this 3-year-old, and her name is Sea Mist, and she'll stand before she comes in the parlor and lick the back of my neck, and she won't come in the parlor until I pet her, and it just makes me really happy because it shows all the hard work and the dedication that you put into the animals, that they care about you too, and it's just really rewarding. And even though sometimes it's really annoying to just get the hot heavy breath on the back of my neck, I just smile every time. And I come to the Cornish Fair. I go to a lot of other fairs, but I come here because they're the best with their exhibitors, and they really focus on agriculture, and they make it feel like they want you to be here and they want your animals here. So in the 4-H show, we have 60 4-Hers that are competing this year, which is even bigger than the show that we had for the state qualifying for the team to go down to Big E. So it's a lot larger than another show you'll go to in New Hampshire.
I'm in the 4-H ice cream booth at the Cornish Fair with Steve Taylor of Taylor Farms in Plainfield, New Hampshire. So why is local dairy so important?
Well, it's a huge contributor to the economy here in the valley. Millions and millions of dollars are churned out by the dairy farms of this region in the form of sales of milk, beef, and the economic activity is pretty significant.
Can you tell the difference with locally produced dairy?
Oh, absolutely, of course. The local fresh, that's the thing. Nearby producers produce high-quality products, and those high-quality products are reflected in the taste and the quality of all the dairy products that are out here in the marketplace. Ice cream, yogurt, fresh milk, fluid milk, chocolate milk, you name it. The nearby product is going to be superior.
The fair will be open tonight until 11 p.m. and will continue through Saturday until Sunday evening. Tickets are $10 for adults and free for children 12 and under. Don't miss out on the chance to join in the fun with family and friends. In other feature news, here's your chance to question the director of the Vermont-based film Northern Borders. Jay Craven will play a more active role in front of the camera Saturday night at the Claremont Opera House. The program is scheduled from 7:30 to 9:30 p.m. Northern Borders is based on the novel by Howard Frank Mosher. The film and book centers on the coming-of-age experiences of 12-year-old Austin Kittredge. Austin is sent to live with his grandparents in Vermont. Craven will introduce the audience to the film and afterward take questions from the audience. For ticket information, go online to ClaremontOperaHouse.org or call 603-542-4433. When YCN News returns, we'll join Kearsarge Chronicles' Lynn Solomon, who spoke with John Schlosser from Kayak Country Paddle Sports.
The YCN News continues in a moment.
Welcome back to YCN News. I'm Rose Spillman. Now let's have a look at our weather for the next few days and then move on to sports. Tonight we have mostly cloudy skies with lows in the 50s and winds up to 10 miles per hour. Tomorrow will be sunny with a high of 76 degrees and winds between 5 and 10 miles per hour. Tomorrow night we have a 40% chance of rain with calm winds and lows in the 50s. Sunday we'll have mostly cloudy skies with a 40% chance of showers. Highs will be in the mid-70s with winds around 5 miles per hour. Sunday night will be mostly cloudy with lows in the 50s. Now, let's see what's coming up on our community calendar. Tomorrow, the Cornish, New Hampshire, and Norwich, Vermont farmers markets will begin at 9 a.m. In Enfield, New Hampshire, the farmers market will begin at 10 a.m. On Sunday, the Jazz Express will perform in Walpole, New Hampshire at 6:30 p.m. Remember, you can submit local events from your community by sending them to news@ycnnow.com. And now, let's take a look at the results from the Fisher Cats' 2 games last night. There was a regularly scheduled game and a makeup game. Both games were losses for the Fisher Cats. In Game 1, the score was 6-2 with Richmond as the winners. The makeup game was a close one with Richmond just edging past with a 4-3 final score. Tonight is the final game with Akron in a 3-game series. When YCN News continues, we'll join Lisa Connell and John O'Connor for this week's News and Review.
The YCN News continues in a moment.